Hello, everyone. This is Rusty Gilligan from Mac in Trouble, and you're listening to Superheroes Speak.
When creative forces collide, they do great things. Head Shrinkers Press believes in the fusion of creative forces, the typed electrons and ballpoint scrawls that fuel our writing, every stylus that glides across glass, every pen trailing ribbons of India ink, the explosion of colors splashed freshly on finished pages. When those forces come together, they make great comics. They make Head Shrinkers Press comics. Every day we wake up with only one thing in mind, to bring you the absolute best titles our team can create. From the outermost reaches of the galaxy to the Badlands of the West, inside every Head Shrinkers title, you're sure to be going on an adventure you won't soon forget. Let us show you what happens when creative forces collide. Visit us right now at www.headshrinkerspress.com or come chat with us on our Facebook page. Head Shrinkers Press, where creative forces collide.
Welcome to the continued podcast adventures of three opinionated guys with mics and too much free time. Strong enough to stop a speeding movie rumor. More powerful than a bad comic book event. Able to waste hours of time asking stupid questions to people who have better things to do. It's Dave, Ben, and John. It's Superhero Speak.
Hey everyone, you're listening to Superhero Speak, and I'm your host Dave.
And John.
And this week we are joined by a very special guest. He is the artist on a new book available and out through Outpouring Comics. The book is Psychosis, and he is the artist. And everyone, please welcome Dave Coates to the show.
Hello, everyone.
How you doing?
Good, and yourself?
We're hanging in there.
That's good.
So you're from Canada. What's the weather like up there?
Actually, this winter's been pretty mild. I think everyone's been pretty surprised by it. Last winter, we got hit pretty hard. Snowbanks pretty much eclipsed most of the buildings, but definitely this year we've been in the pluses and stuff, so it's been pretty good. Yeah,
it's been really mild down here too. We had a few really cold days last week, but now it's back to. I mean, it's been a lot of it's been in the 50s. 40s and 50s. It's been, I guess global warming is true. So
that's the way it seems.
So, something I like to always ask our guests, when were you always interested in comics as a kid, and who did you read when you were growing up?
Yeah, definitely always interested. For me, growing up, it was mostly X-Men that I read.
Mm-hmm.
I lived in a small town, so the corner store didn't get too many comic books in, and that seemed to be the consistent one that I could follow. So
okay, so and we're just curious, like what X-Men iteration was it?
Mostly either just regular X-Men or Uncanny X-Men.
Okay, I meant what team? Who was on the team at the time?
That was like around the time of Onslaught, so
okay.
It kind of varied quite a bit. There was a lot of different team members because it was kind of like a big event, so.
Right. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, it's that is the one book where you can usually tell when a person was reading it by who was on the team at the time too. So then obviously you've always been interested. What got you working with Adam on Psychosis, and I guess also can you tell us a little bit about the book?
And you did it with Kickstarter too, so it seems that went well. How did you get it to go with that?
Well, I definitely have to. I'll give you some background, but I definitely have to give Adam a lot of credit for that. I kind of pride myself in just doing the drawings. He did a lot of the, organizing and set up the Kickstarter and pretty much all that stuff he pretty much did, which was great because I really dislike doing all that stuff. So, pretty much a couple years ago, Adam posted, there was like a Facebook community. It was, I think, connecting comic book writers to artists or something. I forget the name.
Mm-hmm.
I'd recognize his name because, we live in not a huge town, so, everyone runs in the same circle roughly.
Okay.
And he just said he was looking for another artist for a comic book, and I had kind of wanted to get into comics for quite a long time. I was just drawing mostly like, the the standard superhero pose and stuff, but I actually wanted to do sequential art. And I saw his post, and I said, why not? So I messaged him, and we worked it out, and here we are.
Cool.
As far as Kickstarter goes, that went pretty well. I don't know what other creators' experiences are like, but I think he only had to fix a couple things and restart it once. But yeah, we got funded within the time frame and went pretty smoothly.
And was it from just like a lot of small donations? Did you get a few big ones? And
well, the way that Adam set it up, we definitely got quite a few small ones just to purchase the book itself. I think it was like a $5 tier or so. But he did, each time we did it, which was twice, set up a guard tier basically, where, if you wanted to be part of the book and have, a really fancy, flashy death, you'd pay a little bit extra.
Awesome.
So that was a little bit of a higher price tier, and we definitely had people fulfill that. So.
Oh, well then that begs the question, who got the flashiest death and what was it?
Oof. For the first book, we did kind of a single sequence with all of them because there were 3 guards all together. There was like hands being cut off and stabbing in the neck and a whole bunch of stuff. So it was pretty good.
Oh, congratulations to those supporters.
Yeah, well, they wanted it, so they got what they wanted.
Nice. And how much did you raise?
I think the first one was around 1,500, and I think the second one was about the same.
Was there a lot of buzz at the time and that drove people there? Or, were you advertising?
Definitely any buzz related to that was created by Adam, so I think he's quite a social butterfly, so he knows a lot of people, and he heavily promoted it, so that certainly helped. I think the majority of our funding came from people we kind of knew. We certainly had people in different countries and stuff that funded just randomly, but I would say the majority was people we knew.
Cool. So what, in a nutshell, what is Psychosis about?
So definitely about the main character, which is Psychosis. His alter ego's Victor. It's him working through stuff. He's kind of trying to make the world bright. The world's in kind of a really bad place at this point. So he's trying to make things a little bit, easier. It's also very much about his own struggle, because his alter ego, he's basically got multiple personalities. So it's Victor and Psychosis. So they're kind of fighting against each other while he's trying to fix things in the world. So. Oh,
okay. So kind of how people always talk about Batman being a split personality, but they don't really ever play on that in the book too much.
No, and we definitely do. It's very apparent where it's, they will argue with each other and they fight over what to do in certain situations.
Cool. So I'm curious, since you guys are both from a small town in Canada, is that where you based the book out of, or?
Yeah, definitely. We feature some, well, I guess what you would call landmarks from Moncton. When it shows like, meanwhile in so-and-so, it does say Moncton. So it's not always present, but it's kind of there in the background.
Right. Now, and I'm just kind of curious, like, was that a conscious decision, and B, did you guys talk about, well, if we sent it around, our hometown, it might not have much as an international appeal to it?
That was more of a intentional decision by Adam when he wrote it. I think he had kind of written that before I came on board, so I'm not too sure about that. As far as kind of like the international appeal, I'm not sure if he had thought that part through, but it's not something that's very pervasive, so I don't think it would really affect too much.
Right, and I don't really think it's a big deal. I mean, Stan Lee lived in New York and worked in New York and said, "Oh, I want all my characters based in New York," and logically it doesn't make sense that they're all in one city in the United States.
Yeah.
So yeah. So actually,
Moncton. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. No.
Okay. Go ahead.
I was just saying, Moncton kind of like hub of the heroes in our story, but they do travel all over the world. Like the latest issue, they're going to Las Vegas. So.
Oh, cool.
Oh, nice. Ooh, Vegas. That's one of my old haunts. That'd be a fun place to have a superhero go on a rampage. People might not even notice, actually.
It's true.
And actually, so let's back up to something you said earlier, and I think this is kind of a cool thing to talk about. You had mentioned you were drawing a lot of superhero poses, and you wanted to get into sequential art. For those people who aren't artists, explain why there's a big difference between drawing just a superhero pose and drawing sequential art.
When going through this, it was very much quite a surprise to me how different it was. I think a lot of people think, drawing's drawing, but comic is very much about storytelling. I'm sure everyone's seen web comics where they just use stickmen, right? Well, that's not really crazy good detailed drawing, but they are telling a story. So that's really how it's different. It's great when you can read a comic and the art's fantastic and all that, but sometimes it almost doesn't need to be.
Right. Yeah, because I think a lot of, especially when you go to conventions, you get a lot of fan artists who are good at drawing that picture of Superman and the classic pose, but if they had to draw a whole book, they would probably crawl under a bed and cry.
Yeah, I think I did that once.
Oh, okay, good.
See, I do that when somebody asks me to draw a stick figure. But that's just me. I'm horrible at drawing. Yeah. So as you went through writing this, was this like an idea that you came up with in a dream, or just what inspired this whole storyline?
Well, Adam is the writer, so I didn't really have too much input on the story initially, especially for the first issue because he had already written it before I came on board. So I got more involved when it came to design decisions, like how the character would look and stuff. As the story goes along and he writes more issues, he bounces certain things off of me. But aside from that, I'm not too much involved in the writing of it.
So once you got involved, then did the drawing actually start to inspire parts of the storyline? Or I know that sometimes I've heard of artists actually once they start drawing stuff, say that it gives the writers more ideas of how to do certain things.
Yeah, I definitely think that happens. For the most part, when I draw something, I really try to stick to what Adam has written. He may change a few things depending on how I draw the certain scene. It doesn't change too much, but I think he does get certain ideas for future issues and future storylines based on what we're drawing and writing. So
nice.
I always find it fascinating when they would talk about the Marvel method of doing books, and even some of the books that were done in the 30s and the 40s and the 50s, a lot of times they would just have a loose idea for a story, give that to the artist would draw all the sequential pictures, and then someone would just come in and fill in bubbles, the word bubbles, and there wasn't a full script done beforehand. It was kind of like they made it up as they went along. Would you ever want to work on a book like that?
Yeah, I think I definitely would. Both ways kind of have their, pros and cons.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely with kind of a very, very loose draft or script or whatever you want to call it, it kind of gives me more artistic freedom of how to lay things out. Whereas when it's more scripted, I have to try to stick to the vision exactly as it's laid out as much as possible.
Right. No, because actually, it's funny. There was recently I was reading an article about I can't think of his name, the artist who created the Joker. It was his playing card that inspired what the Joker looked like in the comics. I can't think of the artist's name, but that's I know there's people screaming at their phones right now or their computers.
Yeah.
But what I took from the story that was interesting is that back in the 40s, they would draw a bunch of panels, and they might go, well, we don't like this panel here, and they would take it out and then redraw a new panel. But then they might use that panel they took out later on in another page or in another book. In fact,
is Bill Finger, by the way?
No, not Bill. Bill Finger, yes, he's credited for creating the Joker, but there was the artist whose playing card the image was based on. Was it Jerry? It might have been Jerry Robinson.
Jerry Robinson, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And in fact, that it was a story about the first Joker issue that happened, where he had drawn some art that showed the origin of Robin, plus had the Joker intermixed with it, and they decided to separate the stories. But he originally was going for, the Joker killed Robin's parents, which would have made a much different story today. I just found that funny. Anyway, have you ever has Adam ever done that to you? Going, hey, I don't like this panel here, take it out, and and redraw it, and then maybe you got to use the panel again somewhere else.
Or for any of the other work that you've done too.
Oh yeah.
This isn't the only thing we've done.
As far as the Psychosis book, I don't think it's ever gone to that extent. Adam might say, "Hey, can you add a handprint here, or just something minor, but nothing that extreme where we're removing an entire panel."
Mm-hmm.
I haven't really experienced that much anywhere else either. So
Okay.
Well,
is there? Okay.
Oh, yeah. What are your experiences with? So, what have you done besides Psychosis?
As far as comic book, I worked with another writer that's local to Moncton. He has a comic book called Niobe. It's kind of like a Japanese superhero female comic character.
Mm-hmm.
That would be my only comic book experience.
Oh,
okay. What other kind of art do you dabble in then?
It was before that very much like the superhero poses and stuff. I didn't deviate too much from that sort of style.
Okay, so no oil paintings yet?
Few and far between.
Oh, okay.
That was Niobe, She Is Life for Stranger Comics. Is that it?
No, I don't believe so. The writer's name was Larry Higgins.
That's not him.
Him on Facebook.
Apparently, there's more than one comic book. I smell copyright. Larry Patrick Higgins. Yes, and you did that. Wow. Okay. I'm looking. Was what Kickstarter? There's, I guess, there on Kickstarter. There's Niobe #1, and there's a pose, Niobe posing there, and I don't see your name on it. But if that's you, that is awesome.
Thanks.
If not, he's just okay. Look at that.
So
Good.
So what are your plans, guys' plans with Psychosis? Do you plan to make it an ongoing monthly? Are you doing it as a mini-series? What is...
Adam's planned it out ideally for a maximum of 20 issues. He wants it to be a limited story. Nothing against ongoing series that go on forever, but he wants to tell a all-inclusive story and then end it there, basically.
Okay. No. I mean, and I totally understand that. What if? But I always like to ask the question. Adam's not here to ask. What if DC said, "You know what? We really like this character, and we'd like to buy him from it."
Well, I don't think we would be stupid enough to turn that down.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
We don't have that much pride.
Oh, well, that's good.
I think you get more residuals from Marvel at this point. You could play them. Oh.
Well, depends on who you talk to at Marvel. So anyway, since we've brought up the big two, if you could work for either of them and work on any character in those universes, who would it be?
I definitely would work with Marvel, I think. That just seemed to be more of what I am familiar with and what I followed. As far as a specific character, that's a pretty tough one because there's lots of really good ones out there. I think Thor has always been a big favorite of mine.
Oh, cool. Yeah, no, that would, yeah, I definitely could see that. Especially with your style. I think it would meld well together. Yes, with the, I'm glad, it's because you didn't say X-Men, and, I will say this, a lot of the artists I know that have, worked on team books have told me they don't like working on team books.
I imagine it could be a little bit tough at times with all those characters.
Yes, I think the only one who I've ever met said he enjoyed working on his book, but again, it's not like I know him, so it could have just been, the polite answer was George Perez talking about working on Teen Titans.
I'm looking at all right. So I'm looking at your title page, and you're very stylized with a lot of shading. You said you did just poses before, and now I guess you're having to like up your game and do sequence of panels with action in it with the character from different profiles. Did you just start doing that and then start getting into or meet other people that wanted you to do their comics for them, or is that something that somebody offered you and you decided to go from the poses into the action sequences and that sort of thing?
I think it was mostly when I kind of signed up with Adam, it was quite a learning curve. I didn't do too much of that before, maybe a little bit, but that's when I really started to have to learn how to do that sort of thing. First started working on Psychosis.
Did it take a while? I mean, I see you have a lot of concept art on here too. And
definitely the first issue, it did take quite a while. I think all said and done, it might have been close to a year. It was very much a trial by fire sort of situation.
Cool. And so, actually, I'm kind of curious. So you don't have any formal training in art, or?
No.
Wow. Yeah.
Actually, no. Yeah, because I mean, the like John's saying, the cover is very striking, and very stylized, and that's something I don't think people who've gone to school could do. Some people I know that have gone to school could do.
Thanks.
How's that?
I definitely did do a lot of self-learning. Try to find tutorials online and read tons of books and all that kind of stuff. So. And
do you like it, or I mean, are you into it now, and you're going to keep going and finding other work?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm very much dedicated to that. As far as liking it, that's kind of a interesting question. I think when you're young and you kind of draw stuff and you just doodle, Wolverine or Superman or whoever you want doing those superhero poses, that's when it's kind of fun and when you really enjoy it. Now, it's not so much that it's not fun, it's just you get satisfaction out of completing it. It's not that you have that immediate, fun part of it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to me, and I think I can maybe explain this to John a little. Like when I was a kid and I first learned, because John and I are both programmers in our day jobs. So I first learned how to program by myself. I learned BASIC, and I had a Trash 80, a TSR 80, and I wrote some basic programs, and that was fun, and I enjoyed doing that. Now I don't go in everyday work yay, I get to write code today.
Yeah.
I don't hate it, but it's like,
But when you're done, you're probably like, oh, I'm satisfied with what I produced. And
exactly.
Yeah, yes. Definitely.
I don't go home anymore and write programs. No.
I feel the same way. Like if I spend a day drawing, 15 different arms and different poses, that's not fun, but it's satisfying to finish it.
Yes. Right. Exactly. Thank you. See, John, does it make sense now?
I knew that. And by the way, a TRS-80, luxury compared to the VAX VMS I had to use back in the day.
You're not that much older than me.
I'm old, damn it. But like a coder, I'm sure you've got this where every once in a while you sit back, you look at what you've done, and you're like, wow, I did that, It's just like you do something really cool.
Yeah, and then I look at it a month later and I go, oh, God, I did that? That's bad. But anyway.
Well,
I'm kind of glad you guys say that, because I think a lot of people in creative fields, whether it's, drawing or coding or what have you, they kind of feel that way, where it's like, you think you're doing really well, but then you look back and you're definitely better now. So.
Yes.
Hey, Dave, I've been thinking. I wonder what it'd be like if superheroes were real and managed by the government.
Funny you should mention that, because our friends over at Outpouring Comics have a new book called Freedom Fighter that is all about the world's first government-owned and funded superhero.
Awesome. I'll have to check that out. I'd also imagine if there wasn't oversight, superhero-like mutations could actually lead to a pretty bleak world.
Well, it seems some of the guys at Outpouring agree with you there, because they're also premiering a new book called Psychosis, which is all about a future where powered mutation leads to mass destruction of the human population and subjugation by an elite group of powered people and rich humans.
Wow, so how do I get my hands on these books?
That's the easy part. Both these books are available in digital format on DriveThru.com and Gumroad.com. And if you want to pre-order a physical copy, you can go to outpouringcomics.storyenvy.com to reserve your copy today. And while you're there, you can also check out Outpouring's other amazing titles. Hope you enjoy them.
Oh, I will.
Okay, those sound cool. But what if I want something else from my comics, like horror or monsters?
Well, that's easy too. Outpouring features great comics like the award-winning Inheritance, and now they're bringing you the John Orlando collection from the 90s. Plus, if you love comedy and fun stuff, they're also doing Mac and Trouble from Rusty Gilligan. So, with all these great books and all these great things to choose from, you guys should be checking out Outpouring Comics. So head on over to outpouring.com today.
All right, so okay, so let's mix it up a little bit here. Since you're a fan of the genre, you read X-Men, you definitely like Marvel. Well, I'm gonna ask, what was the last superhero movie you saw, and did you like it?
Last one I saw, I'm trying to think.
Wow, it's not Deadpool?
No, I haven't seen that yet. Don't make fun of me. I know I'll see it soon, but
Nope.
I think the last one I saw was probably Age of Ultron, I believe.
Okay.
There's many more recent ones than that, but
I think Ant-Man was after Age of Ultron.
Okay, then I definitely saw that then. I've seen pretty much all of them except for Deadpool, so.
Oh, okay. And did you enjoy Ant-Man?
I did, yeah. Yeah, it was kind of a different type of movie compared to the other ones, so yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. I'm not hard to please by any means, so.
Oh, okay. Unlike John.
I'm not a huge stickler, even if the movie kind of deviates from how the comics were. I don't mind that. So
right. No, exactly. Look, I really enjoyed the original 3 Spider-Man movies, and and the thing is, when you go look back on them, you remember that there wasn't anything to compare them to at the time, because we had the Batman movies in the 90s and then the X-Men movies. So this was like the next franchise but it was really big, and you had a lot of the diehard fans being like, oh yeah, but this didn't happen like this in the comics, and this was different in the comics. And I'm like, yes, but you have 50 years of comic book history. If they tried to tell that in a movie, it would be a 70-part movie series, and each one would be 5 hours long.
Mm-hmm. And I think we've all seen comic book movies where they try to cram too much in all at once, and it just makes it
that's
awful,
true.
So.
Yeah, Batman versus Superman.
I saw the trailer and I thought that too, actually. I'm like, I hope they don't try to fit too much in there.
Well, I think
we haven't seen it yet.
But they're going opposite direction. Normally it's like you've got one hero and like 15 villains. Now you've got Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman, and I'm sure there are going to be a few more cameos in there. They got too many heroes, and what are you going to do? It's DC. I just sit back and laugh at this point. So, yeah. What else? I'm sorry.
Well,
I need to take a drink now.
Well, speaking of DC, I have a question, and as an artist, maybe you can answer this for me. So, the New 52, right? When they reintroduced the characters and they redrew them, they got rid of Superman and Batman's underwear on the outside. But the other thing they did to all of the characters was they drew lines as a design in all of their costumes.
Like a seam.
Yeah, exactly. Like Superman with a blue costume with a red seam, and Flash with a red costume with a yellow seam. Like, I don't know. Does that look good to you?
It depends on the character. I think for like Superman, not so much. I'm not a huge stickler for keeping the old costumes by any means, but sometimes it's just bad design choices, and that's how they are. But overall, I think it's okay. It's not the best.
Yeah, I mean, it's because it seems like, from my understanding, Jim Lee had a lot to do with the new designs of the characters. And, I mean, if you want to leave your stamp on the character, is that really what you want to be? No, you're the seam guy,
Yeah, and that is very much his style. Like, he's very detailed like that. So, but it's not for everyone, I guess.
Does that make it harder to draw, or do you think, or I understand. Okay.
Definitely, anytime you're adding more detail, whether it be the costume or anything else, that certainly increases the amount of time it takes to do anything, and not just the amount of time, but when it comes to continuity, at least for myself, just starting out, that's something that can be frustrating. You go back and look through the pages you've done, you're like, oh wait, I missed a seam on that, so it doesn't look the same as all the other pages.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. Okay.
Yeah, that's why in like a lot of early Spider-Man comics and in the 60s Spider-Man cartoon, the webbing was drawn on the head and the hands and not over the rest of the body. Because I can't imagine what artists think who want to have good continuity that Spider-Man drawings do to themselves.
And that was animated. I can't even imagine doing it just like as a single shot on a comic page.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. In fact, I mean, speaking of details, Todd McFarlane, I can't think of who the inker was that worked on his books when he was doing Spider-Man, but they said that they hated inking after him because so many lines, so much detail. And then, he did the webs with all this like little detail through them. And yeah.
Speaking of detailed comic artists as well, a local person that works for Marvel here in Moncton is Nick Bradshaw, and he's crazy detailed. I'm pretty sure he has his own separate little army of inkers just to do his work. If you get a chance, check out some of his pictures and you'll see why.
I will do that. Cool.
Nice. So you go for a much cleaner look then to be able to get it out in a timely fashion and also to cut down on, like you said, the continuity problems and such?
Yeah, definitely for multiple reasons. I try to do that, especially because I'm doing all the jobs of the art. I'm not doing, like, there's not a penciler and inker and then a shader. I'm doing all that, so I try to, and that was part of figuring it out at first too, trying to make sure everything's feasible and on deadline and all that stuff.
Well, who came up with the concept art for the original character's costume and such? Was that you, or was that the writer?
That was me. Adam had shown me an initial kind of idea of what he wanted, and I kind of took it from there and made my own spin on it.
Idea of what he wanted is a really nice euphemism for stick figure, isn't it?
No, not at all. He actually, I'm not sure if he drew it or a previous artist had drawn it, but it was a full-on like a front shot, kind of like a character sheet sort of pose.
Oh, yep. Okay. And then you took that and went on from there.
Yeah, basically the original design was kind of blue and black, and it had some spirals, I guess, to kind of insinuate the psychosis part. Had kind of gone from there.
Spirals.
I was going to say black and blue is the best for any hero's costume if they're going to get the crap beat out of them all the time.
Yeah, definitely.
And Psychosis is a black and white book, right?
Yeah. Because we were doing a Kickstarter ourselves, printing costs, it was more feasible to do in black and white.
Right. Have you ever wanted to go back and color it?
Definitely color's really nice, but again, because I'm doing all the work myself, that would just be another added layer that would extend the deadlines and all that stuff. So
Right. I'm saying in the future, after,
Special edition.
Special edition.
Yeah,
yes.
Definitely. I think color's always nice. It adds another nice little layer to certain things. So
you could add Jabba the Hutt in one of the pages. Oh man, nice.
And then I'm just kind of curious how you guys got hooked up with Outpouring Comics.
Well, apparently I had seen online that they were advertising or basically putting a shed out there for independent comic books. I had messaged Adam about it, and he pursued it, and I guess they worked it out, and here we are.
So you're just going to blame everything on Adam? Is that what my understanding is?
I guess, yeah, basically. But apparently he did say that I'm the one that found it originally, but I don't remember that at all, so.
All right, cool. And and I'm curious, is it just a distribution deal with them right now?
Well, they're printing it, and we kind of get back end stuff. So
cool. Yeah, I know that they just did a convention this past weekend, and they had your book there.
Yeah, I saw some pictures on Facebook and stuff, and that looked really cool. It's nice to see our book out and about.
Are you going to do like Artist Alley at some of these cons? Are you thinking of going out there?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've been doing our local one in Moncton for I think 2 years going now, but I'd like to expand and go to other ones, various different places. That'd be nice.
Yeah, I think they ruined your book too.
Did they?
They put some weird ad on the back of it.
Oh yeah, it's really big and bright and colorful.
Yeah, I know. It kind of ruins the feel of the whole book. Oh, sorry. I have to. Sorry, boys and girls. That's a plug for us. Go pick up Psychosis.
They might not be on the inside joke yet.
Yes, go pick up your copy of Psychosis, and you can see our first print ad on the back.
Nice.
Cool. So how about some cons in the States? Maybe New York or San Diego?
Yeah, that would definitely be good. I mean, New York, that's, fairly close to us, so I don't know how far we're looking to branch out so far, but we're definitely open to that. Yeah,
I mean, it's so easy. You can fall 20 feet and find a con anymore, I think.
Yeah, there's, even within the small, like the Maritimes where we are in Canada, I mean, we have one local in Moncton, but just about every city, even within our own province, there's, multiple cons, so I don't think
Isn't there a really big one in Vancouver?
There could be. I think Vancouver, Toronto, and Montreal kind of have the biggest ones within Canada.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Maybe, and you know what? I think maybe it's Montreal I'm thinking of. A couple of my friends have gone to them. I haven't been out of the country, so.
I haven't been out of Canada either, so don't feel bad.
No, that's fine. I don't feel bad, you know. Canadians scare me. Oh, I mean.
I almost got stuck in Canada once. I went up there for my brother's wedding. He married a Canadian national, and then on our way back, we hadn't thought to bring our passports because, hey, it's Canada, right? We're all friends. So I had to call my mother and have her fax copies of our paperwork to be able to get out of the country back in.
Yes, that
in the
actually
US.
that happened to a friend of mine too, whose name also happens to be David.
It's a conspiracy.
Yes, he on a whim was on vacation in Niagara Falls, and on a whim decided to go across the border with his family, and no one said anything when he went in. They're like, "Oh, welcome, come on in."
Yep.
But when he tried to get back in the United States,
that's how we get you.
That's how you become Canadian. I understand now.
You trap people.
Nice.
It's like being in Philly and going over to Jersey. It's free to cross the bridge into Jersey, but you got to pay to get out.
And you pay a lot.
Yes.
So what's next on your plate? I mean, you got this. You're going to continue on with Psychosis, and are you guys thinking of doing any more Kickstarters, or is anybody else clamoring at your door for artwork for another title?
Not yet so far. Basically, our short-term goal is just to continue away with Psychosis and go from there, basically.
So as an independent, and as these things kind of go, of course, you guys both have day jobs. You have issue 1 and 2 done at this point?
Yep, we're about halfway through issue 3.
Okay. Do you have a schedule you're trying to keep to in like maybe bi-monthly or something like that, or?
At this point, for now, I mean, obviously, the quicker we can get it done, the better. But we're at a 4-month interval right now.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right. So kind of not quarterly. Yeah, maybe kind of quarterly.
Well, I think we definitely want to get it down to quarterly, though. That's kind of our goal.
Cool. And if you could do it professionally and just make enough money off of this book, would you do that?
Oh, yeah. Within a blink of the eye, I wouldn't hesitate.
Cool. Cool, because, I mean, because you said you were earlier, that you loved it, but you didn't, you weren't as in love with it as you used to be. So just needed to make sure.
Yeah, I think it just changes how you feel. It's not that you hate it by any means. It's just, it's different.
Right. And,
it's work. That's
right. Well, and you don't have to answer this, so, because it might be too personal, but obviously you have a day job. Do you have a family as well?
No, I don't have a family. I have a cat, if that counts.
Well,
sometimes.
Well, according to the cat, he's family, so. And of course they rule us.
Yeah, that's true.
Because we have friends who do an independent book, and they're brothers. The book is called Laserman, and the one brother has a wife and 2 kids, and his brother, is single. So they end up going to the single brother's house, work in his basement all day long, or after work, for like 3 hours every night, and then he goes home and he's like, yeah, my wife complains all the time. So at least you don't have that right now.
I can't even imagine having a wife and multiple children and having to do this. It just might not happen. So.
Yeah, I should have never got married. Oh, I mean.
Well, now that you've said that, at your next con, you're going to meet the perfect person.
Well, we'll see.
Yes, they'll be dressed as, You'll meet somebody doing Psychosis.
There you go.
Cosplayers.
If that comes true, I'll let you guys know.
All right.
If that comes true, we want invitations to the wedding. And then I want to go get some Powerball tickets for the lottery.
Cool. So but so you're right now you're just doing Psychosis. Is there any ideas you have floating in the back of your head that you'd like to do?
I definitely have quite a few. There's certain things I'm working on, just small little projects, but nothing super concrete right now.
Okay, cool. You ever just like create a character, draw it, and maybe put it out on DeviantArt or tweet it out and see what kind of feedback you get?
I don't go looking for feedback. I have put it out on DeviantArt and stuff like that, but not too many people comment on that sort of thing. They might just be like, "Oh, that's cool," but
Yeah, I know. The internet, they're so nice. Never a bad word about anyone or anything. Thanks, internet.
Yeah.
You're stay classy.
Well, it's DeviantArt, so it's not constructive criticism, it's destructive criticism.
So here's a question I always like to ask our guests too. How do you measure success?
That's a good question. I don't really think about success too much.
Okay.
Usually if I'm just satisfied or happy with what I'm doing, then I guess that's success.
Well, that's a good way to look at it. I agree. You got to be happy with what you're doing.
I can't really measure it in like money or anything like that because, right now I feel I'm successful with my comic book, but of course I'm not making tons of money, so I think definitely success is being satisfied or happy.
No, definitely. It's funny because that's a lot of the people that I've asked that question to who have been people who have been in the business for a long time. It's rarely ever about money. It's about, am I happy with what I'm working on? Do I have a smile on my face when I'm working? Am I making people happy with what I'm doing? Those are the kinds of things, because money comes and goes and, you don't know. And this is a business, kind of like show business in the sense of you don't know if you're going to have a paying gig, 6 months from now. So as long as what you're working on now makes you happy, that's what counts, right?
Definitely. Kind of on the flip side, I've definitely had day jobs where you make, decent money, but you're not necessarily happy doing them. So
I know.
Yeah.
Being an armpit sniffer for the deodorant company was not a good. Oh, sorry. Was that out loud?
Nice.
I'm sorry. You were saying, John?
Yeah. No, I can't say anything because I where I currently work. Anyway, not going any farther than that.
All right. We'll leave it at that. So I think you need to go see Deadpool.
I'm definitely going to do it.
Come on. It stars a Canadian.
I know. I don't know why I haven't seen it yet.
About a Canadian superhero.
Yeah. And seriously, disregarding what I said at our last episode, it really was worth it. It's actually one of the best they've put out, and one of the best. Fox is actually, that's not saying a lot for Fox. It's the only good one they put out, something like that, somewhere around there for Fox.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, it is really fun. Ryan Reynolds is he's awesome.
The bits and pieces I've seen, I think he's born to play that character.
Yeah, kind of like Tony Stark and oh gods,
Robert Downey Jr.
Yes. Yeah, it's just one of those things where he was the character before they needed him.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, because Canadians are known for that, being mercenaries.
Well, okay, your words, not mine. I have a sister-in-law who's Canadian. No, not going there. She's very nice.
Yes? Is she?
Yes.
She never snuck you over the border and tried to keep you there?
Don't go there. Don't go there. This isn't South Park.
She tried to force free healthcare down your throat. Come on.
This is not South Park. Don't go there.
Sorry.
Anyway.
Couldn't resist.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So
are you still doing more Kickstarter stuff for Psychosis?
No, since we've signed on with the Outpouring,
right.
we won't be doing that. Basically, the Kickstarter was only really for printing costs, and Outpouring will be printing it from now on. So,
who'd you print it with before Outpouring?
We had two separate companies. We did locally. I won't mention any names, but
is that? Did they? You can't, or?
I probably could, but
okay.
He doesn't want to.
Yeah.
All right.
It worked out, but
it's bad memories. Come on, John.
Oh, all right. I see.
Mm-hmm. When a man wakes up in the middle of a desert in a dress, he doesn't want to talk about... Oh, wait. That was me.
Gotta stop with those flashbacks. They just don't work on this kind of medium, really.
So where can people right now get the book if they want to get their hands on it?
Definitely, right now you can go on Drive Through Comics. Outpouring has a whole section there with all their books, and that would be the best place to get it.
Cool. And where can people find you and Adam online?
You can definitely go by our names, David Coates and Adam Atkinson. There's also a separate page for Psychosis. You can just type in Psychosis the comic, and it'll pop right up, and that's where you'll get the most up-to-date news.
Cool.
Excellent.
Cool. Yes. And before we wrap it up, do you have anything else you want to add?
No, it's been a pleasure. I guess that's about it.
All right.
It's been
Cool.
a pleasure for us, too.
Excellent.
Yes. I believe you are our first Canadian guest.
Well, I hope I set a good standard.
Yes, I think you did. Adam will be proud.
Not like those New Yorkers. Oh.
Hey. I think most of our guests have been New Yorkers.
Your point?
Ooh. So as John continues to offend everyone in the comic book industry, as always, boys and girls, don't let your cape get caught in the door. Have a good week.
Okay, now it's my turn. Okay, what are you doing? Taking over Dad's mic so I can be part of superhero speak. Duh. Well, there are better ways to join the conversation. Really? Like what? Well, you can interact with them on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, and even Pinterest. Wait, people use Pinterest? And what's Google+? I don't know, something to do with circles. Anyway, you can also see all their posts, including comic book reviews, on their website, where you can also sign up for their mailing list. Cool! Yep, are you still going to try to hijack Dad's mic? Nope, I'm going to try to answer the stump the key question. Nice. So who do you think would win in a fight between Rainbow Dash and Squirrel Girl? Oh, that's a hard one. Oh no, Dad's waking up. My lives!
Oh, what are you guys doing? That cape's gonna get caught on the door.